Live as you were to die tomorrow. Learn as you were to live forever. By Mahatma Gandhi. Good afternoon to all. I am Kanishka Godke, Vice Chairperson of Rait ACM. Along with me, I have Vedant Pandey, Webmaster of Rait ACM. We would like to welcome you all to Reaction Time, a workshop on React. You all might be having a million questions right now, like HTML and JavaScript, virtual DOM, component life cycles. What are they? What do they mean? What the heck is React.js?
Rizwan sir, you have shared your screen. You just need to stop sharing it for like
Okay,
2 minutes.
okay.
Thank you, sir. Kanishka, check.
Okay, I'll continue. You all might be having a million questions right now, like HTML and JavaScript, virtual DOM, component life cycles. What are they? What do they mean? What the heck is React.js? Personally, when I first started learning React, the concept of HTML and JavaScript seemed cool. But that was I really knew about this latest buzz-addled JavaScript framework. So what exactly is React? React is a front-end JavaScript library used to build interfaces like real-time search or navigation menu. React was first deployed in 2011 by its creator, Facebook engineer Jordan Wall. React is still maintained by Facebook. If you're looking for examples, React is obviously used by Facebook and Instagram, as well as other websites like Coursera, Dropbox, eBay, Expedia, Netflix, the New York Times, and Reddit. In 2017, Stack Overflow's deployer hiring trend survey saw a huge increase in demand for React developers.
What is React Native? React Native is used for building cross-platform mobile apps using JavaScript and React, rather than building individual native apps for iOS and Android using Swift or Object-C and Java. React Native can combine with native modules written in Swift, Object-C, and Java. So programmers have the option to build part of an app in React Native and part of it in native code. This was all about the basics of React. We have an industry expert with us here who will explain all of this and much more in detail. I am sure you are quite excited, and so am I. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our speaker, Mr. Rizwan Khan. Mr. Rizwan Khan has done his engineering in computer science. Currently working as a software engineer at Paytm, he is the founder of webscript.info. He also has his YouTube channel with 35k plus subscribers. Wow, isn't that amazing? Just a little housekeeping before we get started. Participants, please feel free to ask your questions to our expert. You can also post your queries in the comments. All questions of every participant will be answered during the workshop by our mentor. We will be having a Q&A session towards the end. Now I would like to invite Rizwan sir to start with the session.
Thank you, Vedanta. Thank you, Kanishka, and everyone. And thank you for organizing this event. We are all very thankful of Rait ACM. Okay. So with this, let's start. I hope I have to share my screen, right? Let me know once it is shared. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Okay. So let's not waste a lot of time and we'll dive into the React. Let's start with the fundamentals of React, and you guys really explained it well with the founder details as well. That's really nice to hear. And let's continue. So I have a Google PPT, and let me present you what's the prerequisite as and what I'm going to explain you in this. Okay. So let me present you. So prerequisite for this workshop is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So this is the fundamental of our every website, web application. If you're talking about browser, then without this, browser is totally incomplete thing. Okay, so without this, we cannot do website development or web application development, right? And to start with React, this is the fundamental thing that is all of you need to know, right? Let's see what we have in our next slide. And I hope, okay, so this is just a meme I found on internet, right? And what I'm trying to say with this image, I hope you all can get it, right? So my point is just to be before starting React, you must need to be clear with JavaScript and HTML, CSS, right? Then you can jump to the React. It will really help you how things work. Okay, so what we have in our next slide. So if you visit React official website, right, reactjs.org, the first thing, the definition was very clear. There is no rocket science at all. It's just a UI library for building user interfaces, right? And there is three principle you can see in the page itself, right? Learn once and write anywhere. So web, obviously, we can build web applications. We can also use this React on the server side, right? So the current problem, if I will talk about the problem of React right now, so React is a single page application, right? And what happens when it loads your HTML page, there will be nothing if you go and see the source file. Everything loads from the JavaScript. So it is totally unfriendly with SEO, with Google crawler, web crawlers, right? So your if you're trying to build something that needs to be Google friendly, if someone search and your page needs to be listed on the Google result, right? So you have to make it SEO friendly as well. And for that, we have server side concept. And for that, we have an existing framework example, that's a Next.js. And there it totally makes use of React, right? And guys, please let me know if you have any doubt. And so just keep interacting. So it will be like friendly for me as well. Next, we have mobile, right? So for the mobile, obviously we have React Native, and my friend explained it very well, right? So React Native, we can use a single base code, and we can develop simultaneously both Android and iOS application. So it's actually how it works. It hosts your JavaScript file. When we produce a bundle, it's all about bundle. It loads those JavaScript file in the uh, application, and then mobile engine loads and paints that screen over your phone, right? So almost we can use React in every platform, web, server, mobile, wherever you want, right? So you have to learn once. Next, what we have, component based, right? So components are nothing but just, if you see any application, there will be some components like header, side nav, buttons, footer, and many more things, right? So every thing, every piece of stuff you see on the application, that is considered as a component, right? And every component can have their own state to manage their life, right? So here, component based. And then we have another principle, that's a declarative. Okay, so declarative means I have written this statement by myself. I know how much correct it in English, but hopefully you'll get my point. So declarative is like if you expect something to be done and that's done without putting your effort. That's called declarative. Actually, if you understand programming paradigms, so there will be two types of programming paradigm. First one is the imperative, and second one is the declarative. So in case of imperative programming, you have to line every line of code, and then you will expect the result, right? So you will know what you're going to see. In case of declarative, you'll have no idea, but you'll have some kind of function, and you'll expect a result from that. So I've given an example over here. That's this is a function, square, and it is giving me the square of 3, right? So this square of 3, this variable over here has no idea what this function will give, but it's just in a hope this will give the square of any number whatever I will give as a parameter. So this statement itself is declarative. This square function calling, we are calling and hoping to get some result from it, that itself declarative. But if you see every line of this function itself, that is imperative. That may write you or someone else. It may be a library, it may be anything from outside or from your own function that you can reuse every time, right? So this is the three principle, right? Let me show you once again: learn once and write anywhere, component based, and declarative. Okay, so any doubt about this? Next. So Java JSX, the most important part for React, right? JavaScript syntax extensions, right? This is the full form, and JSX is totally not the requirement for React. You, if you don't want to use JSX, if you feel uncomfortable, then definitely don't use JSX. But we have an alternative, not an alternative. That is only the thing we have within the React library. So it provides a method that's a create element, and with that method we can create any elements like div, h1, and JSX is just a syntactic sugar. So whenever there is some bundling tool within the React management, right? So whenever it sees a JSX syntax, right, it all for each syntax it makes use of create element, and it actually replaces everything, every JSX piece of code with this function react.create element. And I will show you the live example of it very soon. So anything you can do with JSX can also be done with just plain JavaScript, right? And this is the reference link, so you can definitely visit if you want. Next, I have in my slide DOM and VDOM, right? So what I need to tell you, if I will explain this topic, every bit of it, then it will take more than 2-3 hours or even more. I'm not sure about it, but in simplified terms, I can say for the DOM is document object model, right? And if you want to visualize it, you just have to go to your browser, right? And let me show you here. So this is your tab, right? And no website, nothing. And if you go to the console and type document, hit enter, you're going to see something document. So this object is globally available from the web APIs, browser APIs, right? And if you see, you are going to see a tree, right? Tree like a structure, and it has a HTML head body. So within this tree, we have two nodes. Those nodes are head and body. Within head, we have a couple of more nodes, right? Based on this page and their requirement. Okay. And within the body, we have some more nodes, and it will go likewise. If you keep on expanding it, you're gonna keep seeing the childs. Okay, so this is the DOM. Right now we are seeing the document object model, that is nothing but DOM. So what is VDOM then? Okay, so let's go back to our slide. So here our VDOM is nothing but virtual DOM, and that is not part of the browser. It lives in the memory. So when React compiles it, it first compiles for the within the VDOM. That's only lives in the memory, and this is what React makes better in terms of performance. How it is? So what it does, if you take the example, right? If you take the example of this again, let's go back to this slide, and let's imagine we have some kind of list over the page, right? And I don't have right now list. So imagine we have a list, and we want to inject our dynamic elements within the tree, right? What we have to do, we have to create a string of li tags, right? And then within that li tags, we have to append those li tags by using document DOM methods. That is nothing but append child. You see, go document dot body dot append child. So this is the method we have to use. We have to just create a simple string first, like that. Let's say const, and we'll say ul, and here we'll say document dot create create element, and here we have to pass the string. What do you want to create? Ul, and then within ul we have to say dot inner text. Let's say inner text. I don't want to write lots of li's. Not inner text. Let's say text content. So this is all other property from the DOM. So DOM is actually very powerful. It gives everything whatever you need for the website or web application. Okay. Here I want to say hello rate. This is this. And it added something within the UL element, and that is still not visible, right? So is my fonts are good enough, like, or I have to zoom it? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
My fonts are good enough, or I have to increase the font size?
Yes, they are visible.
Okay, cool. So document dot body, and we'll have to say append child, and then we'll say ul, and so it added something within our child, append child ul. So we should see something, right? Document dot body and dot append child, and here we have ul. So this is going to inject in our body, and here we have our body. Let's clear our head. Let's go to the element and here we body and let's edit as HTML. And here we go console and child. Okay, that's not working. Something wrong with that. Mhm. Just give a second, guys. As you can see, the process is bit involves a lot of steps, right? If you want to append some dynamic elements within the content, right? As you can see, and if it is sometimes pain as well. But let's try that again. Here. Oh, the text content itself is missing. Sorry. There's one. And you can see we have got hello rate users. So it involves a lot of steps while you are doing it, right? And can you see that hello rate user? So what I've done over here, I've just created a UL element and I have append some text over here, and then I have added this UL as a children. If you go and inspect this thing, so this is our DOM tree, right? Within the body we have a new UL. This is the first one I have tried, and the second I have again created a UL and I added this rate user. So you can create anything whatever you want with the tags, right? And let's continue to our slides so I can tell you more about it. Okay. Yeah. And browser has no idea about JSX. For browsers, like if we type JSX for browsers, it has completely something which is browser will tell you something. What is this? I don't know. And here, if you type something, if you try to type something like that, let's say I want to print a string, I will say hello world, and here it is hello world visible. But if I will say h1 and or not that one, if I will try to say h1 and hello, let's close this h1 tag, and it's an unexpected token. That's a syntax error, right? So because browser has no idea what is this, I don't know what you're trying to print it. So that's we have to use some kind of transpiler to transpile our JSX code. Okay. Next we have now slide. So obviously we'll talk about Webpack and Babel in the we'll do the live coding and I will show you what Webpack does, Babel. Then we have React Router DOM. We'll discuss about it and hopefully then you can definitely start creating your own applications with these knowledge. Okay, so let me jump to the editor and show you something. Okay, say code. So here we have our VS Code, and I will create simply npm project. And before that, let me tell you how React works. If you go to the website and you're gonna I think most of us already know how to install a React project, how to create a React project. You just have to do npx create React app, and then it will show you it will create a project for you with all the information that is necessary for a React application, right? So here we can see docs. Let's go there. Take a tutorial. Where is that? Okay, just forget it. So what we have to do? Uh,
Hello, sir. Can you please increase the font size a bit?
Oh, sure. Till then, everything is fine. You're getting my points, right? What I'm trying to say. Much. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here we have note dot just for my reference. So when we want to install a React project, what we have to do npx create a React app and then project name, right? Project name. So it will create a project for us where we can find everything, right? But in this seminar, we are not going to use that npx create React app because that's everyone is familiar with it. But what we need to know what is inside it, right? How it is compiling your components, how it is compiling your JavaScript code, what is the tools, what are the tools behind this npx, right? So npx is just do you know what is npx, right? We have npm node package manager, and we use npm for installing dependencies for our project. Likewise, we have npx to install a project, so it will help us to install all the project level dependencies, right? So project level, and npm is for the library, so module level. So it will help us to create a project, and let's not use now. If you use, then you'll never know what is behind this thing. So let's first initialize our project, and we are going to use npm for that. So we'll say npm install, no, sorry, npm init and -y with a flag. So all the questions will be answered. Here we have package.json file. It has created something like that. Okay. Now what we have to do, we are going to create a folder, make directory src, and here it will. SRC. Here we'll keep all our files, whatever we want to use for our project, and the most important file for our configuration, right? So here we'll create an index.js file. Okay, and let's install all our dependency. Npm install -hyphen Dev. So what we need to install, we need to install some dependencies like Babel. So Babel is one of the transpiler that used to transpile JSX code, right? So as I told you, browser has no idea about JSX. So Babel will help you to transpile the code. And if you want to see that, you can see over here this. So here this is Babel js.io. You can go over there and you can write your JSX code. It will convert all of your JSX code, all of your JSX code to the plain vanilla JavaScript code. So let me show you how it works. We'll say dev, and inside this, you see it has created by using the React library create.element, and it is created with string dev. Inside this, we want to store h1. We'll say hello world, and let's close this h1 tag. And here it is going to see. So how it works, if you see the create element method, it is just like the method I have just used within the code, right? If you see my methods, so here it is document.create element. So this document object is exposed by the browser, right? So we can easily use, but that create element method is not exposed by the browser. That is part of the React library. So you have to add those as a CDN or as a dependency in your project. Then only you can use that. So here we have our Babel, and it simply create the divs for you, and it has three parameters. First one is the name of the element, what you want to create. The second one is the null. That is nothing but you can specify over here if you want to add some class or ID or style attribute, anything. Let's, in this case, let's say I want to add ID equals to div1, and you see things got updated over here. We got the second object with an ID div1. So this is how React create element for us. Okay. And then the third parameter is, again, I have used an children, that is h1. So the thing is over here, the react.create element, again the third parameter is create element, because we are again creating a element, right? h1. So third parameter is again an react.create element. Likewise, it can have n number of parameters, so there is no limit. You can have a number of parameters, right? If you add more, then you will see more. and you see there is again a comma and then again react.create element. Okay, so this is how our JSX got converted to plain JavaScript code, and this is what browser knows. Oh, this is JavaScript code, this is a React library already added within the project. So okay, I browser will simply tell you, okay bro, I can compile it. So here's the thing, let's come back to our editor, and here's our index.js. So as we need to install for sure Babel, right? So yeah, sorry, why have we moved that? Dev and at the rate Babel forward slash core at the rate Babel forward slash Babel hyphen loader at the rate. What else required? Babel loader. Yeah, we need some environment also for the React. Say Babel forward slash preset env at the rate Babel forward slash preset hyphen React. Okay, Babel core, Babel loader, Babel preset env, Babel preset React. Let's install all of this. And all of this I'm installing as a dev dependency. It means, as you can see the flag over here, save dev. So all of this will be installed as a dev dependency, and it is not going to be available in your production code, right? Means when you are ready to host this application on some server, and you are not going to see all of these dependency, because these are the things that needs to be used, right? There is no requirement of the project. This is only for the compilation process. Once your code got compiled or transpiled, then you don't need all of these stuff. That's why I'm installing it as a dev dependencies. I've got some error, not found. Babel code, oh guys. Babel forward slash code, Babel. Oh, there is nothing like that. Babel loader, Babel preset env, and preset React. So it is installing all the dev dependencies. Let it install. So all of them are installed over here, right? So all of them are here. Now we need to install the most important. Babel are there, but we need to use Webpack to bundle all of these things, right? So let me show you on another platform, and that is Webpack. So do you know what is bundling? So bundle, actually, when you write your application, right? So for your web application or any type of application, you might have to write lots of files, lots of JS files, CSS files, and you have to maintain all of them. So here bundling means it will pick all of your files based on the extension. For example, here if you see .js extension, right? So in this .js, if I will have, let's say, 10,000 .js file in my project, and so what I have to do, if I don't want, if I want to produce a single bundle for it, right? Bundle means a single file for all of them. So I have to use some bundling tool. Webpack is one of them, right? It will pick all of your JS file based on the .js or any type of extension. It depends on your what type of project you're doing. So it will pick all of your JS file and convert into a single file. The pictures are very self-explanatory, right? Here you see .js, .cs on the right side, .jpeg, .png. So your project may have thousands of JS file or CSS files, but all of them will be get converted to a single .js file, and that can be used over the browser. And even you can gift that .js file to your friend for showing greetings or whatever you want to do. Okay, so let's go back. So here we have to install Webpack also, because Webpack is going to help to do our things. npm install. Save. Again, this is a dev dependency that is totally not required in the production. Npm save dev, and we'll say Webpack, Webpack hyphen CLI, and Webpack hyphen dev hyphen server. So here, Webpack CLI, Webpack dev server. Let's install it. Again, we have got some error. No valid versions available for Webpack CLI. Okay, the spelling is why I'm doing so much spelling mistake. So webpack CLI webpack dev server. Okay, webpack. Okay, now this time hopefully it is going to work. Okay, so our Webpack tool is also installed. If you go and check your dev dependencies, here we have our dev dependencies, and here we can see all of our dev dependencies that is installed successfully. And we don't have any dependencies yet. So for dependencies, the most important thing required, that's the React itself, right? We need React to use it. So we have to install that one also, npm install hyphen, and that is going to be as a production dependency, because without React our application will not run. React library is kind of important, mandatory for it. So React, and then again React DOM. Okay, so these two are the dependency for our project, and we'll install it. Okay, it is installed. And now we have dependencies also. So React and React DOM. So for our project, these two are the dependency. All of them will be removed in the production environment, and your bundle size will be very small. Okay. So here index.js file, and let's do some fun. So what we can do, let's import our React. Babel help us to, Webpack help us to use the ES6 syntax, right? So we can also write import statement, or we can also use that traditional React require statement. So here we'll say React. So if we have something, why don't we use it? So let's do import React from, and here we have React, and also we need to import React DOM, because that's the root and heart of this thing. So React DOM from render, and that is totally not. Okay. So React DOM is here, and .nl. Okay, cool. So we have React DOM, right? And what we need to do, we need to use a method from React DOM to render our elements, our components, right? So we'll simply say React DOM dot render, and let's write some element. We'll say h1 hello React, and so this is going to help us to create our h1 element in the real time, right? But where we want to display it, we haven't created any HTML file to display it, right? So we have to create some HTML file, but let's forget right now. Just assume, just consider we have an HTML file, and we have a div element over there with some ID, right? And we want to render everything over there. Okay, so we'll say document dot element by ID, and let's say we have an ID app in our HTML file. Okay, and that is not. So React DOM dot render, and here we have hello React, and this is going to, the first element is the component itself, means your HTML or JSX, and the second, the place where we want to render this thing. So I'm assuming we have an ID, we have an element with an ID. We don't have anything like that. We'll just compile it. Okay, so here we have this thing, and let's compile this thing. So we have installed Webpack, right? So Webpack will help us to execute this piece of code and create a bundle file. Okay, but we haven't created any configuration. Webpack, when we have Webpack in our project, right? So it looks for a file. The file has a specific name. That's a webpack.config.js. Okay, so we have to create that file. We'll say webpack dot. So in our root folder, we'll create webpack.config.js, right? So we have to specify some configuration. And if you want to know more about it, simply visit the Webpack official website, right? So we go documentation, and here you can see all the configuration details. So this is the configuration object, right? Here it requires an entry point of your application. Obviously, if you're going to build an application, right, so everything is going to start from a some file, right? Everything is going to start from some file, and then it will follows other file, right? So in our case, if you see, everything is going to start from this file in the index.js, and whatever imported statement are there, those are just as a dependency. Okay, so webpack will help us to include all of them in our bundle file. Okay, so we'll create that configuration. Simply say const config equals to, and here we have to specify the entry of our application. And what is the entry point of our application, right? So I've just told you, right, index.js file in our case. You may create lots of files, but this is where we are starting. So here we have to specify our entry point, and we have to say what is it, index.js, and it is going to give an error because that is inside src. So that src forward slash index.js. Okay, so where we are. So yeah, so we have specified over here what we have to do. We are going to pick all our .js file in our project folder. So wherever it is, whatever the folder it is, it will find all the .js file and it will transpile them, right? So here we have to say test, look for all the .js file, and we have to use some loader, right? And the most important part is in node modules, we have lots of libraries included by the when we install Webpack and other things, right? And there will be lots of unnecessary library which are not required. So we have to exclude those, right? So we'll have to say exclude. And here we have to say, again, it accepts an irregular expression. We have to say node modules, just exclude node modules folder because we don't want to include all the unnecessary library from node modules, which are not part of which are not the requirement. So it will simply exclude those, and then we are gonna use some loader. So there is another property like use. It's all from Webpack, so don't think, oh, I'm writing by myself. It's all from Webpack. So here it is, we have to say, we have to use some loader. So how we want to transpile all the .js file. So we have to specify a loader. We want to use a Babel loader. So we have just installed, right? So we want to use this Babel loader to transpile all those files, right? And Babel will transpile. And also we have to specify some options for our environment, right? That's an array. And here we have to say Babel / preset -env and Babel / preset React. So by default, preset will be React. So it will like JSX and everything will be smoothly like compiled. Right? So here env and React are those things. And let's save this and just execute this piece of code. Okay, and also we have to export this. As I told you, like when we use Webpack, Webpack will look for a file that's webpack.config.js, right? So it will look for this file, and we have written code, but we have not exported anything out from this. So we have to export. So here we have to say module.export, and here we have to say config. So now it will get all the configuration, whatever Webpack is required. Okay, so let's try to use this. Okay, so we have installed Webpack, and we'll try to execute Webpack. And Webpack simply, so this is also, we have installed Webpack CLI also, so it will execute CLI based commands. Okay, so Webpack, and we got an error, not found Webpack. So this error is because of the reason like Webpack. Here, whenever we are executing something in our command line, it looks that thing in our system environment, right? And this Webpack is not globally installed in our system environment. Instead, it is in our project, right? It is in our project environment. So we have to specify and we have to execute from our scripts instead of executing directly. So we have to say, let's remove this test because we are not writing any test cases. And here we'll say, now let's start. Let's say Webpack. And here we'll say Webpack. That's it. So let's save this Webpack, and see, we don't have any additional folders, but Webpack will create a folder for us because we have specified over here. That's a build folder. Create a build folder for us, and we'll create a .js file for us. Okay. So we'll say npm run Webpack. Okay, and we are very lucky. We are getting too much errors. So here, invalid configuration object. Webpack has been initialized using a configuration object. Okay, I just found out the issue. So as I have specified over here, array, okay, and option is not an array in the rules of schema. I think it is displaying over here. Option should be a string and object. So that is not as per the rule of Webpack, and that's the reason we are getting this error. So we have to remove this, and we have to say options as an object, and then we have to say presets with React. And here we have to do this save, and let's run this. One mistake and it will blow your mind, and you may spend hours solving that. So this is the real-time issue you will face when you will be employed in a company or organization. Okay, so all these things are here. Presets, it worked. As you can see, we have compiled, actually we have transpiled all of our files. You can see it has created something for us, that is main.js, and the size of it is 127 KB, and node modules react index.js. So it picks all the required files which are required for our project, not every node modules, right? Here you just see over here, it's very nice and clear mention over here. So it's a build code generated for every, and mention also the size of each and every file we are using in our project, right? And there is a warning that's a mode option has not set. So that mode we have to specify either development or production. You can simply specify a mode over here, and it is going to be like development or production, whatever it is. Just let's leave as it is. And here we have our build folder, right? And inside this build folder, it has created something for us, main.js file. So it picked everything for us. It picked the whole React library and added in this single file. Okay, so this is kind of awesome, right? And here we have all these things. And this is a open license file created by Webpack itself. So that is no use of for our project, but you will have an open license for it. Main.js. And what I'm going to do right now, so this is going to add something for us. So our code is actually, if you go source index.js, I want to show this hello React, right, in our application. So let's go and try to pick your main.js file, and let's copy everything over here. So I just copied everything, right? And you can give this file to anyone, whoever you want. So let's go, and where is my browser? Let's come back to our new tab, clear everything, clear this one too. Let's go elements, and here we have our body, and let's edit as HTML. So I told you in the beginning, right? Let's assume we have an div with an ID app, right? So now we are going to add that div with an ID equals to app. Okay, ID with an app, right? So we have a div with an ID app, and this is what required for us. Document.getElement by ID, and you can even find that thing over here also. You can simply do document.getElement, and you can see over here, right? So this is our small code which is written by us. The rest of us is all from React and React DOM. Okay, let's go and console, and here is the div, right? Now let's remove everything. Okay, let's paste our code. So I've just pasted everything over here. Okay, this is a very large file, and let's hit enter, and hello React, it appears over here. This is what our expectation, right? Cool. So we got our hello React, and this is all. So let's not mess thing over here. We'll create something for us, that is index.html file, right? We can create an index.html file over here, index.html, and here we can specify HTML5, and here we can say div with an ID equals to app, and let's add our script, and here we can say src, and main.js, sorry, save it. Okay, and sorry, we have to execute this file, right? And I think of reveal. Let's go. And we got our hello React, right? So like this, you can create the whole application and you just need a single index.html file and you can host this file in any server wherever JavaScript is supported. So like almost whatever server you're going to purchase, everywhere is you can use JavaScript, right? Because the JavaScript actually executes in browser, so there is no dependency of server. So here is our thing, right? Likewise, we can do other things also. So we just specified how we are gonna use our compile all of our JS file, right? And next we can specify if you want to use style sheets, right? We can also specify that one too. But let's make our project more automated. Okay, so instead of src writing this index.html and main.js handling all these things by us, let it handle someone else. Okay, so here we are gonna do something like package.json, and let's install one more library. Okay, so here what we can do, uh, npm install, and here we're gonna say html hyphen webpack hyphen plugin, html webpack plugin, and you can find this one. You can see this thing, html webpack plugin. Okay, so you just have to install as a dev dependency HTML Webpack plugin. And how can you use this? That is, you just have to import this, and you have to specify where we want to, from where we want to pick our HTML file. So this thing is going to help you picking your HTML file, your public HTML file, and it will create a like this one for us. Okay, so let's delete this one, and let's create a index.html file. Index.html, and let's have our HTML file over here, and we want to add div, right, with an id equals to app, right? We don't need to add a script because plugin will inject our script within this file. Okay, so it will simply pick our HTML file and inject the script within it. Okay, so here we're gonna add a plugin, const HTML webpack plugin equals to require and HTML webpack plugin. Okay, and this is here. We need to add it as a plugin. Let's say plugin, and this is not right. Just go and pick it from here. So this is how it is: plugins and new HTML webpack plugin, and it takes an object, and here you can specify the template. So where is our template? So let's use our path module to locate our template. Path dot join, and here underscore return. That is your root folder, Rait Acm, and it is in our src. Within the src we have index.html file, and here we have our index.js file, right? Sorry, index.html file. It will pick this one, this HTML file, and inject this main.js script, right? And then we will be ready to use it, right? So let's save this thing. And here we go and execute this thing. And so again, it has created a build folder for us, right? And this time there is an index.html file also. We don't have to create it. And you can see this is so minified, right? So here it is app.js, and it has injected a main.js file for us. Okay, so this can be executed, right? And we are going to use some server to execute to every time whenever we'll make changes, then our server will take care of those changes, and we don't need to execute this webpack again and again, right? We'll go webpack.config.js file, and here we'll use that, or not there, package.json and scripts webpack. And so for the dev, we'll add dev, and here we'll say webpack serve. So webpack will make use of this serve. Serve is again like a library, or it is basically going to serve your file over some server. It will give you localhost some port, right, that you can open. Let's save this and try to execute this one again. Oh, not this one, sorry. We will simply say npm run dev. So our project, you can see project is running at localhost 8081, and also IPv4 or v6 is available, but let's just execute IPv4, okay? Yeah, no, localhost 8081. So here we'll go and say localhost 8081. And we got some warning from Webpack because it is actually suggesting some good things, how you can optimize your code and performance, lots of things. Okay, but let's close that, and here we'll have our Hello React app. Now let's make a change. Also, if you want to get rid of those warnings, simply go and add one more config object. That is nothing but performance. And we're going to say hence is going to be false. And also you can specify a mode, that is development, so it will not give a warning for it. So we are doing development, right? We're not in the production. So save it, and let's quit your server, because whenever we'll make change in our config.js file, every time we have to restart our server. Okay, let's try it now. As it is working fine. Now let's do some changes, and let's see are we getting those changes or not. So index.js and hello React, save, and we got, so it's working as expected. So like if you like, I guess most of you already tried npx create react app. So if you do that npx create react app, you're going to get something similar like that, but you're not going to see this webpack.config.js file because it is abstracted from you, because React doesn't want you to change and make any further modification on it. But explicitly, if you want to do it, you can execute a command. Let me give you that command. So here you can simply say npm run eject. So whenever you'll install a React project, if you execute this command npm run eject, it will expose everything to you, and that is a one-way process. Once you exposed everything, you cannot revert it back. Okay, so that's why that is not recommended, because as per the React team, they will take care of everything, so you don't have to make changes in the configuration. So that is the thing with the create react app, but that is not always a very useful thing when you want to you make a customized project, right? Based on your requirement, based on your configuration, you have to do a lot of things, right? Sometimes getting a ready-made things is always not a useful thing. That's the main idea of showing all these things, so you will get an idea, and whenever in time you have to create your own bundle.js file or application file for handling, you can go smoothly, right, with webpack bundling tool. Okay, so I hope you got my point, right? And if you do this command npm run eject, it will simply create expose the folder like webpack.config.js folder and all those things. There will be lots of things. Okay, so here we have, and this is working as expected. That was Like that was the fundamental of React. I hope you got how React works, how it compiles, how it transpile, and how JSX executes, how Babel converts JSX from JSX code. Browser has no idea about it. For browser, this is just a wrong syntax, an invalid. If you execute directly this thing, you'll get an invalid token because, and so you have to execute. And also you can execute React without any using npm tools. You can simply add React as a CDN module, and also you can add Babel as a CDN. And instead of letting browser handle JavaScript, you can let the Babel handle JavaScript. Okay, so they will take care of your JSX code. What next?
Sir, the participants have joined us on Google Meet, so you can interact with them also.
They have got any? Okay, we have
Yes, sir,
questions.
some of the. No, sir, no questions yet. So
Okay.
anyone if has any doubt, so you can add in chat box.
Yeah. So the question from Roshni Chauhan is React scripts missing? No, not missing. We have React script. React. So I didn't give you exactly the question. Like, so if you go and see your package.json file, you're gonna see all the required dependencies. So this is the main dependencies which are required. React and React DOM. All of other dev dependencies are for just the development. It is not required in your production. Is that the question? Okay, you are asking React script when you install Create React by using Create React app, then you will see React script will execute your code, right? Yeah, that you can see in within the React itself. Here we are a lot of. I just want to show you the main concept behind it, right? How things are aligned and how the dependency are working and aligned with each other. Okay, so this is if you want to create your own customized project, then you have to go in this way, and slowly you can increase your configuration size based on your requirement. So it's just have right now I have added a .js, right? I have added for only for .js. There is nothing and no style and nothing. So you have to add some rules for style as well. So React script, yeah, if you execute npx command, then there you're gonna see a React script will take care of your rendering of code. Okay. Okay. What next? Okay, let's move forward to the application, right? So if you want to build application, so this is not enough, right? And this is you have to install some other things also. You have to also take care of the styling part, right? So what you have to do, you have to add rules again for the styling. So let's add that rule as well. Say rules, and rules is an array, right? And here we are going to mention like what do you want to use for style. So let's test. So test is actually you have to specify what kind of file you are looking for. So I'm looking for .css file, right? So I have to simply say look for a .css file, right? It will look for all your .css file, and I want all of them, right? So and we're going to use some loader. So we'll simply use a loader like style hyphen loader and babel hyphen loader. Okay, and I haven't installed these things, so you have to install it. Let's install it. npm install hyphen save or not save hyphen save, and here we're gonna say what is it? Style loader and not babel loader, style loader and css loader. CSS loader. Okay, let's install it. So here you can see I've used an object, right? And here I've used an array. So it's based on your configuration. You can hear lots of other things are required. That's why it also gives you flexibility to use directly the loader. Okay, so use the loader and run this, and it is not exploding. That's a good news. And here we are gonna add something, some CSS file, say index.ret. Okay, so here we have our background blur and index.js, and here we'll import index.css file. So module pass fail, unexpected token on line 1 of 4. Rules, you can see style loader. So like you guys have idea about regular expression, what is it and how it works? So if you don't know, you can just find some, you can just do Google and understand about regular expressions. So here I've written regular expression. That is like, it will simply look for all the .css file. Here it is also like look for .js file, and it is not a string. It is a regular expression. Currently, no loaders are configured to process this file. I guess some spelling mistake was there. That's why it was not working. But now let's see our output, how it is. Close this. And here you see we have got background color. So we have configured for styling as well. We can add styling also. Line, and that is center. And here, hello React. Okay, so this is working. Now our next topic is React router DOM. So that is kind of like important one. That's why I included, but that is not part of the fundamental. But it is required for you if you want to build a project, right? And this concept is really going to help you customizing your React project whenever it is required. So every time when you are using npx React tab, you're getting a box and you're using things from box. Now you have an idea how to open that box and make changes in your box. Okay. Okay. And next, let's install that React router DOM. So let's kill this thing and npm install hyphen save react hyphen router hyphen DOM. So save React router DOM and let's hit enter. And I would suggest visit the React router DOM official uh, website. Here it is, quick start demo, and it's very simple. So this is how you can use React router. You just have to import some components from there and specify the links, and that you can start using it. Okay, so it is installed. Let's run our server. And here, let's go for index.html and sorry, that is not index.js file, right? And let's create a app.js file. Okay. And here we'll say import React from React and const, and here we'll say app equals to props, and here we'll say return, and we want to do something h1, right? Export default. Okay, let's put that. Okay, it's compiled. and let's visit it, and things are working fine. And here we let's go to the index.js file. So we don't need to make some changes over here. Let's consider this is our root file app.js, and we'll create a folder like components. Inside the components we'll create things like header, footer, sidebar, and whatever you want you can create within your component, right? So inside this index.app.js I will import like react router, uh, react router, right? So from react hyphen router dom, and here we'll say browser router as router, and next that is switch. And before using this, you can write your own logic of creating page. You can just write some function and switch page on the components, right? So here we want to do something like, and let's use the router. And within this router, first we need to create some links, right? So link component is also required from here. Add link, and let's add something like home. Let's assume this, I maybe something wrong with our configuration, or maybe I'm missing something. So let's assume this example, right? I just tried before this starting the seminar. So here we have all the links, right? Home, about, profile, and I've created some component, right? That is nothing but just an empty component with just text, h1, footer, header, profile, right? App dot, and here we have our app.js file. So we are running this one, and let's go to our app.css file, and let's if you want to remove, you can remove that color. I want text line, please center. So let me explain you what is there. It's just link what I've done just now. We have imported link from the React Router DOM, and we have added this home three links, and we're getting all those links: home, about, profile. And on click of, or if you're navigating home, then it is going to load this component, right? So it actually matches this two with this path, right? If forward slash, then it will load the content, and here we have forward slash about, and if this path gets matched, it will load this content. So here if you go and see about, you're gonna see footer, and that is actually wrong text. uh, Content, uh, let's have something useful. Let's delete everything. home home.js file, let's create our component, import react from react, and here let's say const home equals to crocs, this code default. Okay, let's create that. Save this thing again. File, save as. File.js, and file again, save as about.js. Okay, And here we have all these things. Okay, and let's home as it is. About, we need to change this text content. About, file. Okay, and let's go to app.js file, home, about, profile, and we'll load over here. Sorry. Profile. Okay, home, about, profile. This is not there. We have home here. Go to about and profile. So this is working. This is a one level of routing. If you go home, you can create a home page. I've just created a text over here, and if you go about, you can do that about page also. So this switch component helps us to decide what link needs to be rendered, right? And the very important part over here, you need to understand this exact keyword. If I will remove this and save this, let's go and here we have home, and if you go about, and there is a no change at all. So if I'm in my home, the links are getting switched / about, profile / profile, but it is not switching, right? So the reason behind this, it is trying to match the paths. So it is first looking for this, okay, something here that needs this is getting matched in the first attempt. So it is rendering home, and here for the next one, it is getting matched with this one, right? So it's actually like a confusion thing. These two are getting matched. So if you want to restrict that thing, you have to specify your root URL with the exact keyword. So it will look for this one, and it will prevent this to not render this home component, because it will render only if there is exact property. Okay, and here you see, and all the time you have to add this some fallback. So whenever it will reload, it will give you that cannot get that. So we have to add fallback in the configuration of webpack. So whenever it will reload, it will give us that. Okay, so give the expected one. Home and about and profile, it is working. Now we can also create the nesting if you want to create. So let's create inside the profile. So go profile, and we want to add some nesting. Let's create one more component. We'll say profile details.js, and here we're gonna say import React from React, and here we'll say, let's just pick the existing one. Okay, and here we'll say file details. Okay, also we are gonna show this profile details in case of nested. When profile / something, then it will show that. Also we can get the ID. So here we are gonna say file, and profile will be as it is. Let's add a PR, so it will line break, and there we want to add that. We'll add a link component, and this link component needs to be some link. Let's add some random ID. Let's say 1 2 3 4 5, and here we'll say 2. Here we're gonna say, so let's have something like what is the existing one, profile, right? We'll say file / and you can specify the ID 1 2 3 4, right? So someone's profile, right? And then we'll add a switch statement. Within switch, again we'll add a route, and within this route we'll add that profile details component, and we have to specify the path also. And here we're going to say file / colon file ID. So this is the ID that is going to be available for this profile details, right? And that we can see over here. Okay, so let's go and check over here. So let's first see it is getting rendered or not. Profile ID, file details. Okay, try that thing. We'll add a fallback mechanism that then will not get that cannot get thing. Okay, and here we have home, about, and profile, and it is not working. So the mistake, exact path profile, file details, and here we have this thing and file details. Perfect. Switch path. Oh, that needs to be actually the file ID. So do we have link? Don't have switch. Don't have route. And let's assume everything's fine. Here file, we got a link 1234, and we got this in our URL. So we are getting this profile 1234, but we haven't loaded that profile details, right? So if you go profile details, you see profile details are there, but we are not getting profile details because if you go and see over here profile details, this is not rendering, and we have to find a reason. Okay, problem is there. So if you go profile and use that props const, and here let's pick something from here. So it is gonna give us so finally we are getting our match. If you see our match, and here we have in our match /profile and /URL. So all the time you don't need to hard code that dot the profile stuff. You're getting that thing from your match object, right? And that is available as a hook from React Router DOM. So once you got it, then you can simply append that, and you can keep on creating that nested routes. Okay, so if you go home, here we are gonna see only home, about, if you go profile, we have a link. If you go over that link, we are getting that profile details. Also, we can display that ID over here. So let's go and file details, user ID. We can say use params. Okay, use params, and here params. Again, you have to import this use params from the json.stringify. You say params, save. And yeah, this is so irritating. Home profile, and here 1234, and cost terms are not there. It's not. Oh no, use terms. We are getting the profile ID over here, so you can use the profile ID on to make network calls, and definitely in the configuration file. So it's like all the time you have to keep in those configuration in your head, right, before doing, or you can all the time look for the configuration file webpack and find the stuffs. I think you have noticed, like when I was writing things and getting errors, because all these are predefined schemas. If you make a single mistake, then it is like you have to spend hours to fix that. And that also can be fixed, this fallback mechanism. We just have to find out what is the right key name to handle the fallback. So this is how it is working. But overall, we are able to create the websites. Basically, a website is nothing but a bunch of links up there. You can navigate from one place to another, and we can do that stuff over here. So hopefully this is I'm done with that. And any questions or anything? Oh, lots of things are here. Class component is better or functional component is better? Okay, class component and function component both are. It is not about which one is better. Obviously, if you are doing project in this time, then I would recommend go with functional component because we have an ability to create the state, right? And within the functional component, we don't need class to have the states. But if you go for older projects, if you're working in some organization, then definitely you're going to see lots of class-based components. So it's very important to have knowledge about class components and how lifecycle works. And Krishna, how much time we have now?
Sir, we will take the doubts and after that we will conclude.
Okay. Today, honestly, I was out of luck completely. Made a lot of mistakes. Maybe, obviously, we can learn from mistakes also, right? We have the advantage of the real time. When we create videos, we generally remove all those pieces or cut those things where we stuck. But here you can see how it happened.
Yes, sir, we learned the fundamentals and
Yeah.
it is very useful.
Hmm. What are the limitations of React? So as of now, there is no limitations of React, I will say. But as I told you, if we are using client-side rendering, you will not get the benefit of SEO, right? Your page, your will not render over the Google because if you see NPM project, right? For example, in our case, here is let's this is client side rendered. Okay, we are getting home about profile home. If you go and see the source file of it, view page source, and you see we have nothing. We don't have here a home profile and all the HTML code, except we have this ID with key app, right? So this ID with app key is like what Google will recognize from it. They have no idea about it, right? So this is a limitation if you are doing client-side rendering, and to avoid this problem, and the important part for your application is SEO. Then I would recommend use this webpack configuration, what I have just shown you. But this is not enough. We have to do a lot of stuff. We have to install Express also, and we have to serve all our components from Express. Express server, right? Or not just Express, you can use any other server, whichever you are familiar with. So that is one limitation, or it will not a limitation at all. It's like it's up to the requirement. If you need something that needs to be rendered on the every page needs to be rendered on the Google, then that you have to use server side rendering instead of client side rendering. Got to know how to debug your code. Okay. Okay. What is used more along with React for backend, Node or PHP at industry level? So it depends on the industry. Like mostly there is Java in the backend for the large enterprises, right? But also Node is widely used. PHP is also widely used in the startups. PHP is basically widely used in the startups, and Node is like almost used in every companies. For uh, something are there in the Node. Node is basically used for IO operations and creating a socket connection, creating an open connections. And Node is very useful in that case. And also in some servers, if small servers are there, then Node is totally fine. Laravel or PHP, which is better? Okay, PHP is a programming language. Laravel is a framework. There is no comparison. Within Laravel, you are going to use PHP. Okay, so Laravel is a framework. PHP is a programming language. Which is more robust, Angular or React for industry type? So both are widely used. Last year, Angular was falling a lot. If you see the Google Trends, it is as equal as the blue represents the React and red represents the Angular. So it is as equal as falling. But last year Angular was falling a lot and React was spiking up a lot. But today I was shocked when I see this. It is almost as equal as widely used in both. So both are as demand in demand. Okay, when we talk about React, should we use like other libraries like Ionic and Bootstrap? Yeah, definitely. You can use Bootstrap to simplify your work. You can use CDN Bootstrap. You can add Bootstrap like the HTML file, right? We have an HTML file over here. You can simply plug your Bootstrap or CDN within this file. Also, Bootstrap is available as a CDN. So it's again up to the requirement. Like if you want to serve it from CDN, you'll get a benefit like your bundle size will be very small because and when you will use Bootstrap as a library, like npm install Bootstrap, then your Bootstrap will be the part of your bundle size, your bundle file. So it will take so much time in rendering. So I would recommend use CDN for Bootstrap. Ionic is also fine. How to get good internship at good companies? Okay, so good internship, you can if you're in final year, then you can start looking for it. There are some platforms in India. We have platform like the most popular platform, and also on the other hand, most worst platform, I will say. So Internshala we have. Internshala, you some frauds and scams also are there, but some good companies are also there. So you have to always looking on those. If you keep on applying regular basis, then definitely you'll get a call for an internship. What next? How to get Tailwind versus Bootstrap, which is better? Both are CSS frameworks, right? I would suggest first learn deeply the CSS. I hope you will not need Tailwind or Bootstrap, any of them. But in terms of which is better, I will say Bootstrap is better. Have you heard about Ionic framework? If yes, what do you think? Is it worth learning? So I haven't much idea about like it because I haven't worked on it in a framework, so I cannot say anything. Worth learning, yes, everything worth learning. If you learn something that is going to be part of your skills, resume, and definitely it is going to help you in a long term. What is virtual DOM? So in the beginning of this slide, so we have started and we had a topic like DOM and virtual DOM. So virtual DOM, if you see the DOM, right, you can visualize your DOM just by your browser. If you miss that part, then you can definitely go and type document. You're gonna see your document tree and all the elements. So those are the DOM, and virtual DOM is just exact copy of the actual or original DOM, right? And in the virtual DOM lives in the memory. It is like an object. So how that's what React is like most popular about it, and that's what makes React more gives a better performance. How it happens? It happens like first React creates a virtual DOM before actually creating something, right? And it makes a comparison between real DOM and virtual DOM. And if it finds there is something that needs to update, then only in that case it updates. That's how it good in performance. Otherwise, in normal scenarios, whenever you click on something and that makes a change on DOM level, every time you click on, and even there is no change in the DOM tree, still it will re-render everything, and that process is very expensive and that takes time. So that's why VDOM is there in React. I hope you got what is VDOM, and I have a video also in my YouTube channel explaining VDOM. You can watch that. Would you please elaborate about your experiences about your journey to Paytm? Okay, definitely. So I started as an intern in an Hyderabad company in a startup named ITS Planners and Engineers. I worked 2 months as an intern, then after full time. I have then after that, after working in that company 1 year, we have finished our project. Now there was time to support the project, and I was not interested in that, so I left that company and then joined a different company, Acolyte, and there I have joined as a senior software engineer in Acolyte, and I have worked over there also 1 year. It was a service-based company, And after that, I got opportunity from Paytm. Then I have joined Paytm again as a software engineer. I'm totally working on the front end of the application. So I'm working with the payment gateways. What next? Uh, in the index.js, there is React.strict mode. Could you explain what is it? Okay, sure. If you do npx create React app, then you will get that strict mode, and strict modes will give you warnings, right? It will take care of everything, semicolons. If you're missing something, that is just a strict mode. You can see some in the JavaScript file with a string like use strict. It is exactly like that. So it will render everything as it is, but every time you'll get a warning for small things. Link ID. Did you get into Paytm through your web dev skills or using DSA to crack the interview? So here I'm not very big fan of DSA and algorithm, but I have an idea. And obviously it is required. But as a front end developer, all the time, whenever you go for the front end part of or as a software engineer and requirement is JavaScript, React, and all those HTML, CSS stuff, then you'll get decent questions, not very hard, not like graph or traverse a tree or do that. You'll get the basic DSA question.
It is better to solve one problem 5 different ways than to solve 5 problems one way. George Polya. I'd like to thank Mr. Rizwan sir for honoring us with his time and presence, also guiding us and solving all our doubts. Thank you for enlightening us with all the valuable knowledge and information. I'd also like to express my gratitude to the principal of RAIT, Dr. Mukesh Patil sir, and HOD of IT department, Dr. Ashish Jadhav sir. Thank you to all the participants for patiently attending the session and keeping up the enthusiasm. Finally, the JavaScript week is over. I am pretty sure we gained a lot of knowledge this whole week. For updates about more such events, do not forget to follow Rait Acm on social handles. Link to the same will be put in the chat box. Till then, be safe, keep coding. Thank you.